Hello everybody, welcome back for StarCraft 2 action. We're here at the Homestory Cup 25. We have Moja, well let me change that around, going up against Gerald with a D on Wikipedia at least. And it's a PvT, we are here in Group B, and I can hear you thinking, yes, where's the euthermal? And I've seen you guys look at my euthermal video, that's the previous... That's 2 videos ago. It's the last Homestory Cup cast we did. They're coming. They are definitely coming, but I'm kind of like, I need to intersperse them a little bit, right? Wait, what? Why aren't the workers showing? Okay, you haven't seen this. I promised that I would never change settings during a cast, and then of course forget to edit them out. As if. So Gerald going for the Reaper wall here on Alcyone. Let's see if the 3 horsemen are back, if it's going to be an Alcyone, Side Delta, Oceanborn type series. So with Gerald, Polish Protoss players, he's just one of those, you know? He's one of the Protoss ladder warriors that back in the day people used to complain about, like, yeah, then I fire up a ladder game at 1 in the morning because I'm a degenerate gamer, and it's only Protoss. It's only these Protoss players. It's like this Gerald guy, it's Christianer. There's a couple other ones. I don't know. It doesn't make my point very strong, but I promise you there's more of those ladder hero Protoss players. And the joke was that they are the only race that doesn't get frustrated by playing StarCraft. Or at least back in the day, that was kind of the argument. Ooh. We have a Zealot out for Gerald here. Now, usually you make that Zealot if you don't go for the wall, and then the Zealot can kind of keep the Reaper busy. But Gerald is going for the runaround here, literally just dodging this Reaper completely, sacrificing the probe to gain the knowledge of where that Reaper's most likely going, and sending in the Zealot. Trying to punish a Moja that does not make this bunker, or doesn't make multiple Marines. And for now, Adept is also out, is shading across the map, and Moja should be realizing that that Adept is gone, and that is a little sussy. Zealot walks on in there, focuses down the SCV, and it's just in time to kill the SCV on the bunker. The SCV from the CC, though. Helping Hand comes on in now with Shade, tries to go into the Terran base, and it does get a little bit of scouting. Let's see what he sees. Doesn't see the starport nor the factory. The Zealot comes on over. Both of them teaming up on this supply depot. And the Reaper did go down in the base of Gerald. And didn't take down any probes with it. So the Adept here at home... Oh, does not have a kill. Which one is it then? It's probably this Adept then. It does have a kill. Oh, all this early pressure here from Gerald being put onto Moja. We have one more Adept that spawns in, kills the heli and kills a Marine, and now tries to run on out. This SEV in this bunker has been chilling, dude. He's on a small holiday over here. Full HP, but just chilling. Doesn't want to go mining or anything. This is not my job. That's your guys' job. He's the supervisor. He's the manager. And we have Twilight Console. Let's see. It was spotted by Moja. So we see the blink with the chrono, and looking at a super early third here for Gerald. We get a gateway and a robo. So this is very familiar stuff that we saw from Nightmare in the previous cast. And he was going up against Bunny. He was doing some very similar stuff. We see a medevac with only 1 wind mine. Really? 1 wind mine. Is that all we have? We have 1 wind mine and 0 Marines in that medevac. That is a little odd. I feel like usually you see at least 2 medevacs, or even like a mine with like 6 Marines. That's usually the play. But instead, oh, look at that. He's using this medevac to quickly scout for a third. I like that. Get that information. Now he's actually boosting away. Not trying to get into position to do a mine drop here at all. He's going back to base with his medevac. Interesting. I want to know his thought process. I wish you know, I lived in the future where the replay also records your thoughts. And then I can play them back. That's some 2020 StarCraft 4, you know? When we play with our brains, or at least partially play with our brains. It's not like quite like Ender's Game or anything, but, you know, pretty close. God, that's an old movie now, I guess. I remember Destiny and Cats, like, doing some StarCraft around that movie. I don't know if anybody remembers this. Dude, the Stalkers! What? They just get so much value. Just like that Nightmare game where, like, these early Stalkers with Blink, these good Protoss players just find the value, but Moja moves across the map as 2 tanks to anchor this push. And he does know that there's some Stalkers behind him. Medevac, or I think it was a Liberator in the natural, does get a couple probie kills, but gets taken down by the Stalkers here, and forces from both sides from Gerald are moving on in. The Nexus only lost its shield so far. We see a nuclear battery even starting up. Starts healing up this Nexus in his tank, and so much damage. Dude, this is doing a good job, honestly. Blink Stalkers blink it back before they get taken down by the Siege Knight, targeting by Moja, targeting down those weak Stalkers. And the tanks dishing out a lot of damage and then tanking for these Marines a little bit. The Marines do get out, but Gerald saves his third base, and that felt like a pretty committed attack from Moja. But he does have a third base. He has extra production lined up. He has double upgrades started, and SCV's transferring. So, actually, I take it back. It wasn't that committed. He did lose his tanks and a Widowmine. Ooh, nice deny here on a potential fourth base from Gerald for just a little bit. And of course, Protoss can't start their Nexus over here and then fly it over. That's a Terran only. Observer. And another Observer. Look at that vision that Gerald now has over his opponent. Oh. Blink Stalkers actually found the drop. So they take it down, clear it out, and Gerald doesn't have like these pylons in the corners that Skillis likes to place down ASAP, but he has pretty decent control right now over the pace of the game. No fourth base just yet. How many gates are we looking at? 7 gates, 2 more underway, and a fourth base. Second Robo as well. We have a Colossus, we have range. 2 Colossus with range. We get +1 lining up as well. This could be a pretty gnarly push out of Gerald, but he could also just kind of chill, take his fourth base, trying to max out. I wonder what he favors. He's already going for Disruptor. Third Colossus. Oh my god. Dude, what? Gerald, using that vision advantage gained by this Observer, finds the double drop, picks off one of the medevacs, dude. As Moja, your Spidey senses have to be tingling. It's kind of like a... Yeah, there you go. Kind of like a ward in Dota 2, where you get ganked somewhere on the map, and you're like, how did they know to, like, run straight at me? And then you're like, oh, they must have some vision over there somehow. You know, you have to, like, reconstruct in your mind, like, where did I show on the map? And how does that look to my opponents? How would they interpret that that action of me showing on the map, being visible in the minimap, clearing a wave or whatever, and how would the normal movement be if they didn't have vision, and how did it differentiate from that path, basically? Because if a normal path wouldn't have found you, and they find you, then either they're big brain or they have a ward, and in pubs, it's probably a ward. Enough Dota for today, boys. It's all StarCraft, although I have this itch to talk about Mechabellum all day. Oh my god, Moja going for the 2-prong, gets a little bit overrun here on the right side, but he's boosting on out. On the left, he did get a decent trade, it looked like, on the minimap, but Disruptor only getting 2 kills, and Moja's army supply is pretty high up there. He's getting +1 air attack as well. I wonder if, you know, that's for either Liberators or for a cheeky amount of Vikings. He's only making 2 medevacs at a time does not have an extra starport, so this +1 air attack is a little, like, suspicious, you know, a little sus. Oh, we get a scan into the center of the bases of Gerald. Dives on top of a Disruptor, but loses a bunch of Marauders for it. Does get a snipe on one of the Colossi, but seems to be losing units left and right. And another Disruptor ball does not find the connection. And we see some decent trades here coming out of Moja. He does have an upgraded advantage here with his bio. Even though the +1 air attack does not help the medevac beams heal harder. Would be kind of funny, but it does not. There was a time where we got vehicle armor, because I think it still is for both like ground and air. And it was like for medevacs, for widow mines, and for tanks, and even hellbats. And it was pretty good. But nowadays we don't really see vehicle armor anymore in any matchup. If you're not going mech, basically. Moja has such a big army. So much bio. All together, we have 3 Disruptor balls and 2 Colossi, plus 3 attack under 9 High Templar. Look at that. That's a Chad amount of High Templar that were just warped in from Gerald. Tried to find them, but we'll see them later. The Colossi doing their laser. Oh, poor Zealots get... well, basically fired, I guess. Oh my god. And now Moja on the hunt. And Gerald has to retreat, but he doesn't have any more retreating Disruptor balls or storms. This is the Moja moment. He runs on in. Oh, it gets a Disruptor just before it blows up like half his army. Another Disruptor ball comes in. Nice dodge from Moja. Loses 0 units to that. And think about it. We still have 9 High Templar on the map. Oh, the storms. Moja's like, what the hell? You have storm? You have a lot of storm even. Like, you don't expect this. This is like 5 storms, 6 storms. He just keeps on going, dude. It's a tropical storm out here. I thought we were in Germany, not like in the tropical rainforest, but definitely not true. And Moja just got stormed to... well, I don't know what you say. Like... just dead. Just stormed to death, okay? Lots of storm. Brood War storms. That's probably a superlative. Moja still on 3 bases. Is getting a 4th base. Even an orbital as a 4th base. That's kind of cheeky. That's like a little greedy, but 4 orbitals is still a 25% improvement over 3, or I guess 33, depending on how you look at it. I always get very angry with patch notes, especially in Dota, where it's like, well, the damage went from 300 to 400. Is that a 33% increase or 25%? Kind of depends. And people use them interchangeably. Oh my god, Moja. He just goes into all of this splash damage. He's identifying my army is pretty big. Big hot pickup as well. Look at all of these medevacs keep getting whittled down by the storms. And we do not have those cheeky science vessels from the campaign that actually heal up your mech units. Or from Swan, I think, from the co-op commander. Dude, I like Swan a lot in co-op. I used to play so much co-op back in the day. You know, play all the mutators. It felt like a badge of honor. Being like, I could play the mutation on Brutal. Yeah. But I don't know, it just got kind of stale. Gerald is making like, what's this base? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th base. He's just infesting the map with Nexi. And as you could see, Moja kind of got punished for that 4th base being an orbital, because those Zealots found a good amount of SCVs, although 9 have died this game. So not too bad, but quite a bit of damage on those orbitals. And both players not maxed out yet. They've been consistently trading. Now we have +2 air. How many starports? 1. Okay, if this guy was a student of mine, I would be like, what is this +2 upgrade? Like, does it, like, make you one-shot Colossi faster or something? Or, because you only have 2 starports, you barely make any units that use that upgrade. You know, it's not telling him it's wrong, I just want to know what his thought process was and if he would do it again in this game. That's how you learn, baby. Oh my god, Moja could get such a sick arc on this army, but instead, Gerald gets to fight like 1/3 of the army before the rest even arrives. The storms go down, and the EMPs go down, the Colossus get targeted down, and oof, the Shredder has been made operational. And the 3/3 bio, what do you know? Kind of good at killing Protoss that doesn't have any armor upgrades. That armor upgrade had not finished yet. During that fight, oh, 4 Immortals. I love these late-game Immortal transitions from Protosses. Even getting a 3rd Robo for that. It might even be a little late for that, but look at these Immortals go. They are so sturdy, doing a lot of damage, but we don't have any backup storms. Where are those High Templar? We have another Disruptor. One of them did get sniped. I think it's only one Disruptor, 2 more underway. The nuclear battery gets activated, but the units just run away. They are too darn scared, and Moja runs on in 100 army supply. Only 37 workers right now. And oof, another Disruptor comes out. Even the Artosis pylon gets killed. All of the Robos were in the natural, and Moja is now camping it down. And I don't think there's any coming back for Gerald from this position. Moja's just in too dominant of a position, killing all of his Robos. There's no more AoE coming in, and Gerald just doesn't have the gateway count to really deal with this. And we're also not really seeing a counterattack. So how does Gerald do this? We did see 33 SCVs fall this game, so off-screen about 20 of them did die. 22 probes just died. By this natural and main base kind of just dying. And Gerald just completely abandoning his main base, chrono boosting all of the gateways that are still powered. And I don't know what he's trying to do here. He's still in this game. But should he be? You know, to quote Idra, just because you can stay in the game does not mean you should. Templar Archives goes down. 6 gateways are going down. He has decent upgrades. And we have a couple High Templar. We do have 2 Storms over here, 1 more over here, and we do have 1 Ghost if we get a cheeky feedback. Oh my god, Moja sees the High Templar before Gerald sees it. We get 1 Storm that just doesn't really cut it. Oh, 2 more Storms are here? 3 more Storms. But Moja is now aware of the fact that High Templar are still on the map. Another High Templar doesn't have vision, so he can't storm higher than that. And another Archon gets clicked down, and now Moja's just streaming on in from every goddamn side. And, I mean, this High Templar's right-clicking for the life of him, even with the nuclear battery. Cannot stand up against the might of the Dominion. And Moja just runs on in. Dude, Moja, no fucks given attitude. I'm kind of liking it. I'm kind of digging it. This guy just keeps on running at the Protoss army. Which, honestly, after X amount of years playing this game, I wouldn't be surprised that most people just don't want to run at Protoss armies anymore. He runs at Protoss armies with Marauders, Marines, maybe like 2 Ghosts, and a F-ton of Medevacs. Like, how many Vikings were there in this game? He made 1 Viking and 1 Liberator. Okay, maybe there are a couple on the map. There's 3 more Vikings on the map, so he made 4 Vikings. And 1 Liberator, that's 5 air units that can shoot. But he did have +2 attack, baby. He kind of styled on him. What the hell? StarCraft is a hell of a game. And Moja taking game number 1 on Alcyone, and now we are here for game number 2 on Oceanborn. Surprise, surprise, if there's to be a game number 3, could just happen to be Side Delta. You never know. In StarCraft, it's a little, weird in my eyes. Because, you know, I'm used to just ABBA, ABC, which is standard for a best of 3, vetoing and then choosing. And in StarCraft, we all do it before we play, right? We veto all the maps, and then we pick an order, and then we play. So you know, when you start game 1, on what map game 3 might be. But when you look at a different game, such as Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube, the maps are actually chosen after you play. So at first you strike down to 1 map instead of 3. And then you pick the first one. And then you play. And then loser picks. And sometimes the winner gets a ban, depending on if it's a best of 5 or a best of 3. And the person picking the map can't pick the same map that they've already won on unless the opponent agrees to it. Which is basically a gentleman's agreement. And StarCraft is a little different. We just pre-plan the maps, which is... It's a different skill set, right? You reward different skill sets. You reward preparation more than you reward adaptation with that. Which, it's just a choice. But I thought it was interesting to mention that in that aspect, we reward preparation and strategy a little bit more in StarCraft 2. Now, before the action kicks off, you know what to do. Although lots of people have been doing this recently, so thank you so very much. Be sure to like and subscribe. Got him. This little probe still alive. He has seen a lot. Has he seen this factory? No, he has not. But he's also not going to get in. Moja makes sure of that. Oh, Gerald. Gerald of Rivendell? Oh no, that's different. Holy shit. I'm combining Lord of the Rings and The Witcher 3 just like that. You know, that's just how my brain works. The Zealot is not very convinced, doesn't want to go in. I mean, 4 Marines is a lot more than Moja had in the previous game. No bunker even attempted. Moja just reducing the Marines, and this seems to be a whole lot more solid of a hold for Moja. Doesn't get disrupted as much. It's a little bit supply block because the CC is a little later than you would like it to be. CC, of course, gives a lot of supply nowadays with Legacy. So it's more worth it to use the CC as your supply depot, kind of. Even oversaturating his main, so he can Maynard over those SCVs later. And Gerald hasn't really stopped just rallying in the units, and Moja has actually been kind of scared away from his natural position. This orbital might even see a lift, although the fun unit is coming out. The Cyclone is coming out. They both target this Zealot here, and just... I mean, it's just dead. Zealots are kind of unwieldy, I would say, early on in the game. They're kind of trashy units without charge, unless it's like a proxy 2 or 3 gate. Kind of like Coco would do, or Estrella. We see another Blink build coming out here from Gerald, and a Robo in the front once again. Now, let's see if it doesn't get sniped this time around. I guess it didn't really get sniped in the first game, but at some point, Moja just took control of the center of the Gerald's bases, just of his center. And Gerald, losing center control, all of a sudden found himself losing a lot of production. And even though he had a good economy, he just couldn't spend the money anymore. And then you lose all map control, and then eventually the game. Although that was pretty fast. And look at that, Gerald putting down these pylons, making sure that any type of air unit is spotted. But Gerald does not see this Banshee just yet. It's cheat a little, we need to know where it is. And apparently... Yes, the shadows. Look at this. Oh, the Banshee goes in, does cloak, but the Observer is here now. The Robotics Bay has started up. This Stalker sleeping on the job, sir. Not getting a raise this time around. And this Observer also a little slow. So this Banshee does survive, gets a couple kills, and on the other side, Stalkers have blinked on into the main base and are trading. And Moja does defend with the tanks. And 3 SCVs go down on both sides. These SCVs actually repaired the gas and are now doing nothing. I hope Moja notices that, because this is a decent amount of income loss. I don't know if these show up on the... What the hell? Oh, there was a recall of the War Prism. I was very confused. Banshee doesn't have any energy anymore to stay cloaked, so just offers himself up for the Dominion. And yeah, look at that. I don't know if these... Oh, there you go. Good job, Moja. He did notice in the end. A little bit of a mining time loss there. That hurts, but third base is underway. Stim and combat shields starting up now. I feel like those are a little late. They didn't get cancelled as far as I know. But I feel like they're a little late. Usually that blink attack can cancel them. But we do have +1 coming out for the Terran. No double NGBA this time around. Gerald has a third base. We see +1. We see Charge and Colossi coming out. Only one rowboat. And the first Colossus is out. No Phoenix with this Colossi. Or these Colossi. Or this Colossus. It's only one. Let's see what Moja is planning here. 2 more barracks. Ooh, gets a cheeky stick. Everything's cheeky today. On that Observer. And we have some Widow Mines being put into the army. That is kind of cool. Blink Stalkers trying to get a little bit of scouting on that army composition. And also get to kill 1 Marine. Not too bad. That's actually super difficult to do, I feel like. Every time I try to do this, I just lose like 2 Stalkers before I blink. Because Marines almost attack instantaneously. So you kind of have to do it well. Skill issue. Another Banshee. Trying to get some damage done, but the Stalkers are there. Oh, there it does go. 1 Stalker. Did die this time around. Another pylon on the map. Ooh, even a pylon at the third base position. And here comes the Bjorn spot. We've seen Bjorn do this on this channel before. Puts down the tanks. And the tanks are attacking the gas. But they do now target the Protoss units on the left of them. Moja didn't drop like 1 Marauder there to get some vision. Now puts a medevac there. He's shelling down this singular gas. Oh lord, what will Gerald do without that 1 geyser? Well, he's also losing a couple probes. So 3 probe kills. And can't quite hit that pylon. No, can't quite hit it. Oh, Gerald has had enough of his insolence. Moves on in with these 3 Colossi with +1. Lots of Zealots and Stalkers. Oh, what a choke here from Moja. Oh, a nice splash from the tanks as well. On top of all of those Zealots, but the reinforcements are getting caught here by this Protoss army. We have a sentry here that has enough energy for another Guardian Shield, but isn't that good of a spell to be used against tanks, but really good against bio. And Gerald does clean up this attack. No 4th base just yet. So that has been delayed a little bit. A gateway is in the front. Oh my god, Gerald is setting his sights towards the offense. And these players are actually going to miss each other a little bit. Moja's out on the map, whereas Gerald is walking into his 3rd base. We're going to see this army move around right away. And then a little bit indecisive. Then runs towards the 3rd base of Gerald, but Gerald gets the snipe on the 3rd base of Moja, doesn't even get the liftoff, and now we see instantaneously big recall, and Moja gets nothing done with his army. The army gets spotted on the Observer. Even a couple Marauders die. Before that, Disruptor dies, and this drop, even F2's back home. Oh no, Moja. Couple mistakes over here is really gonna cost him dearly. See a couple of units from Gerald there out on the map, but I don't think Moja can catch those and actually punish. Ooh, that Cyclone, 4 health. And no 3rd base from Moja. Wouldn't even be surprised if he just pulls the boys and goes for all the marbles here, because his army supply is still bigger. He's about to get +1 armor, and he just doesn't have a 3rd base. So I would honestly love an SCV pull here. But Moja does not agree. Moves out with all of his bio. He does have 1-1 almost completed. Actually, very nice timing from Gerald, taking the fight before armor finishes. Gerald doesn't know that, but, you know, it's still nice. And Moja trades off a portion of his army, and that definitely does not favor him at all. Because Gerald's sitting pretty on 4 bases. And now his probes are moving over to the 4th base even, and I mean, Moja's on 2. His main is, well, half mining, I guess. And, yeah, I mean, this is just a Yu-Gi-Oh moment. He's playing from the grave. He has a decent army still. Like, his supply is not looking too bad. He has a good amount of SCVs, but he has not started a 3rd base at all. This long-distance mining is just... I mean, it's just not that much. You just don't get a lot from it. Like, it's better than nothing, but... Moja goes for the 2-prong here. Picks up all of his units. Does not want to go for this 4th base. Oh my god, the medevacs without units actually do nothing. This force at the top here did get cleaned up. And now there's only 1 drop in the main. Gets... no snipes, but more stalkers over here. Tried to put the healthy medevac in front, but now look at this. His army is stuck. His army is stuck and there's just stalkers everywhere. Oh no. Oh, that's a little scary. That is a little scary. Look at that. Like, every which way you look, there's stalkers. And I mean, Gerald takes a pretty convincing win here. Moja only just starting a 3rd base, and these zombie run-bys are never going to stop, especially not if there's a goddamn gateway there. The warpins are just going to be too fast. And, I mean, Gerald takes a pretty goddamn clean win here in game number 2 over Moja. So, hoping for a pretty close game number 3. Wait. This is not Psi Delta. This is Ghost River, my new favorite map, and it might also become yours, because the rush distance between, well, these players' bases just isn't that far. So there's always some cheeky stuff going on, and I think the Zealot walking across the map from Gerald on this map specifically is going to be really scary. I wouldn't hate seeing the Max Packs build here, even to have that Zealot across the map even faster. Now, for this group, we have Gumiho and Skillus kind of slated to be the number 1 and 2. And then we have Gerald, who should theoretically be 3rd, but could kind of make a run for 2nd. And then we have Euthermal, who is kind of a wild card. And then we have Moja, who shouldn't get top 2. But it would go a long way if taking this series versus Gerald. And I'm kind of blanking on the last person. Sebastes, I think he's called. Which is an unknown to me. And most likely an unknown to you, so we're definitely watching at least one of his series. But Moja and Sebastes, I think, are definitely the more the younger upstarts, the up-and-coming. Which, you know, esports players don't particularly have to be young anymore nowadays. It's just, yes, you have more time to play video games when you're younger. But I feel like that's becoming less of a thing nowadays. People just having internet jobs. Moja building his CC on the high ground. The adaptation here. He's like, I don't want to have these goddamn Zealot run at my command center and be annoying. And there is a Zealot. And it is circumventing the Reaper once again. Dude, I think this is a very nice adaptation by Moja. This is very nice. It's very good. But to finish the thought, Gerald kind of needs to win this game. He needs to win this series if he wants to have any, like, serious argument for him being top 2 in this group. You can't be losing these. You still have to play against Euthermal and Gumiho, both Terrans. So if your PvT isn't looking like sharp, you need to at least cheese the hell out of Skillus 2-0 in Protoss versus Protoss, and then just hope the map score works out. But we'll see that as we progress through this map. Now we do see the Twilight Console coming out from Gerald once again. The Zealot and the Adept pressure is live once again. Oh, the Adept... Dude, that was some long-range shit. It's kind of a StarCraft thing. As soon as the unit starts shooting, there's kind of like a leash range where it's like, if the unit doesn't get out of that range, then you still, like, fire your shot and it will follow the unit. And it's a little different for some units, and it's very annoying for units that have like a low leash range, where as soon as you walk out of range, it stops firing right away. It's super janky. And I feel like Hellions have that a lot, where if you walk out of a Hellion range, they're kind of like, I can't shoot, I want to... And that's why you A-click, or you click on drones and stuff, specifically. Because it's just so annoying if the drone just slightly moves away, and then suddenly the Hellion is like, I still have to move forward before I can attack. I think that's correct, but I don't play Terran. I just mean to say that that's one of the things that makes StarCraft units feel good, right? It's not that a unit moves out of range for one frame and then it just stops its attack animation and it has to redo the whole pre-swing, basically. Like you have a startup, I guess, of an attack, and then you have the attack, and then you have the backswing, which is kind of like the cooldown moment. And them doing the startup and then not firing and then stopping and then having to do the startup again feels so bad on any unit. Oh, we see a Hellion drop coming in, but Gerald seems very ready for this. No pressure in the front here, so Moja doing only a, what I would say, a single prong harassment attempt here, and I mean, Gerald's just very ready for it. Moja did see, or Gerald did see the factory with the reactor, so he was kind of privy to the fact. And this proxy starport not really paying off here. No Liberator. It's just one medevac and then flying back, so even like the follow-up medevac count is going to be late. And I mean, if this starport gets caught, I think the game is just over. Like, not literally over, but this is not good. But it looks like Gerald is not going to find that. This Cyclone does have to give his life. And I mean, if Gerald knew, he might walk over to attack. We do have a tank, we have a bunker. We don't have barely any units from Moja here. Does go back into the Protoss main base. Loses his medevac. But does get a couple probes. 7 probes in total with these 4 Hellions and a medevac. I guess that's not like the worst. But I'm not thrilled either. But that's mostly because I see the rest of the game. I feel like, oh, the Stalkers get in the shade from the Adept giving the vision. And these Blink Stalkers are now going crazy in the main base of Moja. Get that one tank. Gerald is just kind of catching all the aggressive potential from Moja. Is just neutering him there. And then also, dude, these small Stalker squads with Blink have been doing work. And honestly, these are one of the most like interesting units in the game, so I'm kind of happy to see that a small amount of Blink Stalkers is a force to be reckoned with. Like, you can get so much done. It's a cool unit. Like, it is a really nice differentiating unit. If you see Parting play with these, you're like, goddamn, those are some Parting Stalkers. And if you see some random Protoss on the ladder, you're like, goddamn, those are some bad Stalkers. Now we do see... Oh no, he's going for combat shields. Gerald is clicking it down. Oh, the SCV gets bumped away by the Marauder. I don't know if that would have saved it. But combat shields has definitely been denied. And this orbital or observer even moving out of the way so it can't get killed by the scan. The Reaper goes down. Moja is in Frown Town right now. Nothing's really going his way. The third base for Gerald has been long established, and wouldn't hate to see your fourth base anytime soon. More gateways coming out. And we see one Colossus. We see Thermal Lance. We see a second Colossus. And Gerald is just gearing up for a pretty similar army composition as the first 2 games. And Moja's position has been better, I must say. We have Stim, but we do not have combat shields just yet. We're even getting combat shields in the back of the base now. Just making sure. This one starport cranking out the medevacs finally. So Moja has had a lot of delays in this game. I kind of wonder how he's gonna kind of wiggle himself back into a nice position. What is his plan? You see a double medevac force moving out onto the map. Whereas another double medevac force stays at home. A couple stalkers waiting for a potential medevac, dude. If these find a medevac, it's a feel-good moment for Gerald, and it's a full-on despair moment for Moja. And Moja kind of moving out here just after starting 2-2. Not really a fan of moving out the moment you start new upgrades. But I do like that he's kind of posturing aggressively. This Immortal shows himself for a little bit. We do have concussive grenades, so these Marauders do slow the Protoss units a little bit when they hit them. So if a unit is out of position, it is most likely dead unless it's like a Blink Stalker near the army. And the tension is building. Fourth base for Gerald, almost done. Disruptor coming out. Only one Robo still. Interesting, he's going for Storm as well. How often do you see a Protoss going for like both AoEs? Going for some Colossus into Disruptor and Storm. He just wants to have all of the AoE. All the area of effect. Get a little Bloodstone. Make sure that you hit all of the Terran units. Sorry about that. And Moja trying to trade here with his army, but does he have the economy that allows him to trade this aggressively? I don't know who lost the most minerals. So units lost, yeah, Moja is kind of doubling the resources lost here. And oh my god, these Marauders walking up, trying to find anything that they can find. Want to make sure that there's no like Disruptor or High Templar waiting to storm the entire army. Because if you walk up with your clumped army, you're gonna get annihilated there. And Gerald just mirroring the movements of this Terran player, making sure that the Terran player can't get into a fourth base, into a third base, do a drop in the natural, or anything. No, Moja has nothing going on the map aside from this ginormous bio ball that is now 2-2, up 3 upgrades over Gerald here. Oh, the sneaky ninja Disruptor trying to get a hit. Storms do go down, and all of these bio units are in the red. Colossus standing tall, standing proud, and delivering the lasery death pain to this Terran army. And Moja is just super committed here, trying to push through the Protoss army. He's getting a lot of Stalker kills, actually. I mean, these two Marauders are just left to die, I guess. And I wonder if that was a good trade. I think that was pretty okay for Moja in the end. He did start a fourth base, so it seems that there is a follow-up plan here. Didn't start +3 yet on his units. I mean, if you start a fourth base, you probably also want to start +3, right? Because otherwise you can, if you want to continue pushing, you just fly over the orbital. We see some ghosts coming in. I would be surprised to see an SCV pool now. Like, what was the fourth base for? It was all a ruse. And the Zealots, are they going to take down these rocks? That would be kind of cheeky. As everything in this game today is cheeky. Name of the game, game of the name. And these Zealots are making short work of those rocks. No Dustin Browder jokes today. Haven't been shift queued into the base yet, but they will do that. +3 is now underway for Moja. And from a very aggressive stance, he now moves into a pretty passive situation. He's making a PF, he's making some ghosts, but no Liberators, no Widowmines. Still wants to have a highly mobile army. But can he afford that versus this super AoE-focused army from Gerald? We do see one EMP going down. This Disruptor gets a bunch of kills, 4 kills before it does go down. Another Disruptor shot. Gets a couple of kills as well, and oh, that's a juicy Storm on top of all the air and the ground. But Moja is on the hunt. He is pursuing this Protoss army, and in the meanwhile, Gerald is doing a lot of damage back at home. 23 SCVs already going down, and the reinforcement is just barely not enough. The Vikings even landing, wish they had that +2 air attack now. And wow, the orbital and the natural has even been landed. This +2 ground attack from the Protoss, really deadly, making sure that these buildings die ASAP, super fast. But Moja's still in this game. 37 SCVs once again, though. These ghosts a little bit in the front, but the stalkers do not get any free value. I think they killed like 1 Viking. 3 disruptors are out. The observers giving vision. Gerald, what's the plan? The disruptors are here. The stalkers walking in, taking quite a bit of damage. And some more EMPs. I just want to see what Gerald does. How does he hunt his prey? And the Terran does find a 5th base here. Blinks forward. Couple disruptor shots come out. And he doesn't really get any hits. Wow, Moja with the split. Look at that. And Gerald, I mean, do you just relinquish control of this 5th base? No, he does not. Moja just runs on in. Dude, set fucking 4 Marines in that mineral line, for the love of God. But I guess he just wants to kill him now. Moja's going for the kill. Doesn't have +3, but it's hard to keep track of that. And he smells blood in the water. Gerald, though, he's up in supply, but this looks a little bit like game number 1. Moja just pushing on through. But this time around, Gerald still maintains his robos and still has a lot of economy. So Moja, even though he's going for the jugular, the throat, the weak points, the soft underbelly, he hasn't dealt critical damage. Like, no kick in the crotch yet, right? Like, it's just a couple bruises. It's a flesh wound, but it's not fatal yet. Now Gerald loses another base, so his 4th and his 5th will go down. The probe count is still omega high, giga high. And Gerald now does have an army. He's actually moving out into this army. We have 2 disruptor balls. He gets a good hit on a couple ghosts there. Disruptors do get targeted down. These don't have Novas either. And all of these disruptors move out. The probes come up the line. Gerald just needs to hold on a little longer. He has way more economy once again, but now the robos are back. If you don't lose your robos, you still have this leash on life. And Moja is holding on here. A couple of SCVs not doing anything. He has an economy. Don't forget that he does have 2 orbitals worth of mules and oh no, 2 Colossus come out and there is no Vikings on the map. Actually 0. And good mind by Gerald there. Noticing that, well, these disruptors can get sniped, but these Colossi are way harder to snipe without any amount of Vikings, and the probes come up the line. The High Templar come from behind. They don't have Storm quite yet, and so they do get targeted down. But this base has not been spotted by Moja, so he's not killing it. And I think, I don't know, he seems to be playing under the assumption that Gerald has no money. But it's not quite true. This Disruptor gets away with murder there, quite literally. Murder 2 privates of the Terran army. One of them might have been a veteran. This war has been going on for quite a bit. And little cheeky zealot run by into the reinforcements. That is very good. These zealots are pretty nicely upgraded. And I mean, Moja's getting some decent trades here, but it's purely on minerals. The power units of the Protoss are still alive. And even a 3rd base is being re-established. These disruptors want to get some juicy balls into Moja's army. Just a wee little teabagging. I like how Gerald just keeps this position on the high ground so effectively. Like, no, you have to commit some units or scans or anything to get that vision. Oh, nice EMP on the High Templar. Doesn't get a storm off, and these Colossi are the backbone of the army. These Disruptors don't get critical damage, and Moja now runs towards the bottom base here, and he's like, oh, you cheeky bugger. There it is. A couple of zealots do a run back. What a crazy, scrappy game we have here between these 2 players. Gerald is committing to fighting this army. There's no base to defend here, so he thinks he can kill this army right now. We have 1 storm, might have a couple feedbacks as well. No, the medevacs are being targeted down. And a bunch of the army from Moja goes down in those medevacs. Doesn't quite get away with the boost. Or not all of them come out alive. I mean, this is not a lot. These Disruptor out in the map, but don't get caught by Moja. And Gerald's position is ever improving. 73 probes on the map. Doesn't have a natural, doesn't have a main, but he does have a third base that is mined out. Mostly long-distance mining. Somehow Moja is out-mining Gerald with, well, about 1/3 of all of the workers. And there's even mules. Like, that's actually crazy that Moja is somehow out-mining him. Like, you don't think that, right? It's PF with mules, dude. It's one full base being muled to goddamn Tarnation? Hell? I don't know. Oh? Dude, these ninja disruptors? One day they're gonna hit. They're not as effective and not as cool as Baneling landmines. Could have stimmed his units. I mean, you have enough medevacs there. It loses like 2 Marauders there. So a couple of units getting shaved off there by Gerald. And, I mean, I was thinking maybe you should drop, but what do you even drop here? You need all your units at home to kill these Zealot run-bys? I don't know who this favors. The Zealot run-bys are killing a lot of reinforcements. Where do you plant the bunker, even? Oh, Disruptor standing. Dude, Moja's dodging so well. No! I say it! The curse! And Moja loses a couple of units there once again. Like, his army supply is still godly. And somehow the income is kind of equal. It's 40 probes out of 16. Yep. Typical Protoss player. So this is where you long distance mine, and it's probably worth it. Moja playing with 2 prongs. Does not have +3 armor. I would also not start at this game. This game is crazy. Kind of want to have... I don't know, Liberator's probably also kind of meh. Like, what do you want here? What is good in these scrappy situations? Just more bio? Does he have any ghosts right now? 1 ghost. What do we have? We have 6 Disruptors and 4 Templar and 2 Colossi. And we have 0 Vikings once again. So how... Oh, Gerald actually starting +3 attack. How does Moja try to do... Oh, no, the Disruptor's coming out! The stims come out, and actually none of the bio. Dude, that were 5, and that's number 6. No more Disruptor shots here. But now come the storms, dude. The AoE galore. Gerald is just kind of cooming all over the screen. And hoping that some of the AoE sticks. Oh, that was a disgusting storm. All of the army of Moja, and he leaves. Even though all of the Disruptors, well, they have their shots back up, so I guess it's a very good retreat. This continuous, like, Nexus Wars type affair where units walk in and they just fight each other. Oh, that High Templar gets a storm off and does not get sniped. The Marauder does not get a headshot, so that High Templar is still alive. And the army supply still slightly favoring Moja. Even with the 75 workers, I mean, Gerald is now getting an advantage in resource collection. Oh, here comes another Disruptor! No! Dude, no! Oh, it's losing all of those Marauders. It hurts. I want to see a real fight. Oh, a big Doom Drop is moving out on the map. And I don't think an observer saw that. But we do see a couple Zealots. I mean, Moja, you have to... Oh, I think Gerald saw it with those Zealots. Now there's a bunch of army here stuck. They need to get the F out of here. Oh, Gerald engages this... Well, half the army of Moja, basically. Moja does get away. I feel like time does favor Gerald. This base is about to go up. Bunch of probes should start long... I mean, at this point, you need to double expand, but he doesn't have the money. Terran power, yeah. Float over that orbital, baby. Put it down. Get some SCVs there. I wouldn't be surprised if a couple probes get put into the army at some point, because you're either long-distance mining, or you're wasting your probes and your supply. Moja takes another fight here. Oh, the Disruptor shots obliterate that pocket of bio. Moja in a small moment of lack of stamina. I don't know, like exhaustion kicked in. Just for 1 second. He wasn't perfect. The Disruptor balls hit. And now Moja slightly trailing in the army supply. I feel like Gerald's army is a little bit more value, but only one Storm and one Disruptor ball. We don't have any defensive resources here. I guess you can pull a couple SCVs, but that's about it. We don't have bunkers, we don't have a PF, we don't have Vikings coming out. It's just Marauder and Marines. We have a couple of medevacs still. The clicks onto the Colossus. Oh no, and now Moja has to walk up his own ramp. A couple High Templar come in, and Gerald blinks on top of the rest of Moja's army. And Moja calls GG after a 24-minute on the dot slobber knocker of a Protoss versus Terran. I'm telling you, Ghost River should be your new favorite map. My God, did they have to fight for it? I thought Moja was kind of dead, because I would just be very anxious fighting into Colossus, Disruptors, High Templars, and I guess Archons, Stalkers, Zealots, with Bio. Just plain old Bio. You know, like, Bio. Just Marines, Marauders, couple Ghosts, bunch of Medevacs, few Vikings in there, if I feel like it. Like, that doesn't sound like a fun fight, but Moja was making it work. And, I mean, he could have won this game, for sure. But Gerald ends up taking it 43 out of 16 probes on a Nexus. As you do. Guys. My throat has been kind of bothering me for the couple, like last month or so. So, sometimes during the cast I have to cough a little. It happens. Been going to the doctor. Hope that it gets fixed. I want to thank you all for watching. This was a pretty nice series. I wasn't expecting this much of a banger series. Like, the first game was pretty cool. Second game, kind of a blowout for Gerald. And then game number 3, Moja, holy moly. Holding on for dear life, shedding blood left and right. Like the constant run-bys from Gerald and constant multitasking between these players, trading out in the middle of the map, losing bases everywhere. Just great StarCraft, honestly. Great StarCraft. I hope you guys also enjoyed this StarCraft. Be sure that you like the video, leave a comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'd love to see you in the next one. Cheers.